Good morning. Well, today we're going to tear into the water pump and thermostat on this little BMW Z3, my 98, since the water pump was leaking. So I figured, well, might as well go ahead and change the thermostat as well. Might as while you're in there. So got my parts here, got them in. Actually got the O-rings already lubed up with good old petroleum jelly. Don't use oil because oil a lot of times will dry it out. So we're gonna get started. Oh, welcome to Garage Fun. I've already started this morning. I went ahead and drained the coolant. It took forever because it's just a little spout in the radiator, so I didn't film that. Figured you guys wouldn't want to see a bunch of coolant being drained. Of course, couldn't see it anyway because it's under the car. Alright, so we'll start out by removing the fan shroud. I'm going to go ahead and remove the radiator fan, just for ease of access. This guy's already got a pretty good amount of access in this little 4-cylinder versus the straight 6. So I can definitely reach around it, but I like access. It's always good to have access. And it's pretty easy to take it out anyway, the fan. All you gotta do is two bolts and a connector, and she slides out. Funny story, whenever I bought this Beamer, the gentleman that had it before me, he had this wired incorrectly. So it was actually pushing hot air from the radiator into the condenser, which was the reason why the AC didn't work. So got that corrected, and now she's good to go. Okay, so now let's go ahead and remove these upper hoses here. Trying to preserve as much of this coolant as I can. It still is relatively new since I did that job with the cooling pipes. It's not that old at all. And it still looks really good. And this stuff is expensive. It's European. You have to have European style refrigerant, or excuse me, coolant, and it gets a little pricey. And I've never used all-in-one. I always use manufacturer recommended coolant because of the way it reacts with the metal inside the block as well. So it's been specifically designed for your engine. So I recommend do not use all-in-one coolant. Use your original manufacturer coolant. Alright, so we'll start out, go ahead and get the thermostat out of the way, because that'll give me a little bit more room to see. What's cool is what's funny about these, you can see, plastic. It is plastic. So thermostat's all built in one unit. So good old BMW for you. held on by 4 bolts. And again, with being plastic housing, there is a specific torque spec that you do want to follow because you do not want to crack the plastic housing. And we'll do that once we get the new one installed. Pin going underneath there. As soon as I pull that thermostat, it's gonna a little bit of fluid's gonna run out. I always recommend you doing this, take your time, clear your schedule, you know, that way you're not in a hurry. And it'll pay off in the long run. Alright, there's the old one. Which honestly, she doesn't look like she's that old at all. But definitely tell she was leaking. Area cleaned up here. Inside the block is surprisingly clean. I can look right in here right now and look inside the cylinder head or sit right down the valleys for the coolant, and it is super clean. Looks like brand new inside, which is good because that tells me whoever the previous owner is, they only ran the right kind of coolant through. Good old brake clean. Greasy. The previous owner actually had already done the valve cover gaskets, which I could tell they needed to be done bad because this whole bottom side of this engine was really oily. Which they've been done now, so it's clean. It does not leak anymore, but still, a lot of residue. Let's take the time and clean this up. We would get a good mating surface. No, I'll swap over to a rag. Paper towels are tearing. want to spray it directly on the box because I got my drip pan underneath there, and I'm trying to save that coolant. Alright, so I guess right now would be a good time while the belt is on. Go ahead and break these water pump pulley bolts loose. That way I got the engine holding the pulley for me, because once I take that belt off, that tension's going to be gone. Okay. All right. Belt tensioner kit. Ordered me one of these serpentine belt tensioner kits. Man, this thing is nice to have. It just, everything squeezes right into tight spaces. This should help you put the right way in. So this BMW has two belts on it. It has one belt that drives, of course, the water pump, power steering, alternator, and a crank. And then it has another belt that drives just the AC compressor only. The belts on this guy look really new, so alright. Stick that guy right there. Alright, I'm gonna take my water pump pulley off. There's the little guy. And I can see right along the bottom here where she's been leaking. 3. Oh, lost some spec here. Okay. Alright, you can see water pump bolts. Got 4 bolts hold on. And once you get those bolts there, you have to use 2 of them to rethread to push the water pump out, because it's got a pretty good size O-ring that seals very good. So, all right, so let's go ahead and pop these guys off. So far, I haven't had to use a whole lot of tools, just 10 millimeters. That felt a little loose. That guy feels pretty tight. I would be curious if the previous owner used a torque wrench on this. It looks like we got one Allen head. Huh. Okay. wasn't sure if, just to find out what kind of water pump that he installed. I used a German part. That's all you want to use on these BMWs. You definitely want to stick with either BMW OEM or German. Oh geez, look at that bolt. That was a hole in that. Got 3 short ones and 1 long one. Let's go ahead and do what it says to do. Push against the block. I'm going to press this pump out. And try not to drop the screw into coolant. All right, there we go. All right, now nice and evenly, see if we can press this guy out. I know a lot of folks like to use power tools. I don't know. I prefer the hand. Of course, power tools for impacts and stuff like that when need be. But especially for stuff like this, I just want to be able to feel the parts, and that way, you know, not risk of cross threaded, breaking the screw, nothing like that. So. All right, there she is. All right, quite a bit of fluid. Yeah, look, you can see right there on the O-ring where it had been leaking. And this water pump feels like catchy like. I mean, it is a decent water pump. Maka is the brand, USA. That's, I'm sorry, but when you're using a German car, you want German parts. This is a cast impeller, which could possibly flake parts off. This one is a German part with a stamped steel impeller. So you can see the quality difference there on this instance. But yeah, I would not have used this water pump. I guarantee it's probably one from AutoZone, which right there is why we're doing this again. But so far so good. No issues. Pop right off. Nice and clean inside. Look at that. I mean, love to see that. Whenever you're working on the cooling system on a car, you can tell this car was taken care of. It was loved. You know, somebody did the right thing by it. And used the right coolant. Okay. All right, so we got our new water pump here. We got her lubed up. Let me go ahead and clean this area right here. That is a large lip. A little coolant on there. I'm gonna get this guy lubed up really good. She definitely does not want to press in. A little plastic persuasion here. That O-ring really tight. I got her lubed up too. I usually don't like to seat O-rings with bolts. I like to be able to feel it. But may have to. So we'll take our time. See if we can get this old girl in there. See if we can do two at the same time. Get her nice and pressed evenly. Torque specs next. Yep, there it went. That's what I was looking for. That's what I was waiting to do. There you go, you little rascal. snug. Okay, now let's get our torque specs. Okay. All right, so M8, which is the top bolt, is 22 Newton meters. Which about maxes out this one, so I may have to go ahead and jump over to a 3/4, or excuse me, 3/8. Foot pounds. Nope, this one only goes to here. Okay. All right, we'll get this thing dialed down. Okay. All right, get my adapter here. When your hands not loaded up with oil, grease, and coolant. All right, 22 for the first one, and then M7 is 15 Newton meters. Ooh, and the eyes. thermostat. Go ahead and get the belt on and pulley, and then we can torque that guy down. we go with the new thermostat. Yep. Getting in there, getting in there. Okay, all right. Same torque spec. These are M6s, so 10 newton meters. Check, and double check. Torque it just yet. I'm all snug, and then we'll torque. A couple passes here. Cool it out of the way. I'm gonna give her a dose of good old brake clean. Especially around the oil part. This one hurts to put some absorbent. Yeah, there we go. I'm staying spraying below the water pump inlet, or the thermostat housing inlet, so that way I don't get brake clean in the cooling system. All right, now for some hoses. coolant in this guy. That way we don't have a dry start. This thing gets a little bit of a pain to burp, you know, get the air out of the system. It's a time-consuming process. This will help, you know, get it to where it doesn't have a dry start. You're not starting your water pump with a dry start. Okay. So we're actually getting feed back into the radiator. So I am going to pressure test this guy before we start it. Pressurize the cooling system just to make sure, number one, we don't have any leaks. That way we're not trying to chase leaks with a hot car. If you guys do any cooling system work, I definitely recommend getting one of these cooling system funnels. Makes your life a lot easier. And find the right nozzle. Feels almost like it. Let's take this one tighter. Well, that's not the right one either. Nope. No, it's one of these guys. Okay, there she is. All right. Third time's a charm. I can do this without making a huge mess. start it up just a second, just to get the pump rolling. Just a second. Pump it down. Leaking just a hair. Try to get this guy back together and we'll go ahead and get her up to 10. Put the bolts crossed here. Yeah, I did. One's a lot shorter. Oops. See if I can find me a spacer. Yeah. give it one more douse of brake cleaning before we get started. That way we can see if we got leaks. All right, let that guy dry. All right, start her up, get her up to temp, see if we can get her worked. I'll just end the video right there. So as you can see, relatively straightforward water pump thermostat replacement on this BMW Z3. Like I said, key with these BMWs is quality parts. Use German parts. I got mine from I can't remember, but it was FHC Euro, I believe. Is the part I got the part from. Come here pretty fast, straightforward, slap it on. Just gonna bleed the system right now.